Ladies and gentlemen, the internet has been abuzz recently about a movie that I'm 100% convinced that everybody is making up, and this is all some kind of elaborate prank on me specifically, of everybody pretending that a movie that does not exist does exist and making it sound as ridiculous as possible. I am, of course, referring to Morbius. Allegedly, it exists, I guess. Allegedly, there's a vampire. Allegedly. I am going to try and figure out what the heck all this talk of Morbius is. And what better way to do that by writing Morbius right now with AI Dungeon. Alright, let's get into it. I'll start the story off with what little I've gleaned about Morbius. The things that are probably true? This kinda sucks, but I'm gonna go with it. I mean, the people who claim to have watched this movie claim that it kind of sucked. So this is probably pretty par for the course or something. Whatever. You are Morbius, a man who, after genetic experiments, has been turned into a vampire. You are rough and tough and the baddest dude in Morb City. When you get angry, you turn into a vampire form by a process that you call morbing. You need to drink blood to survive, and today you realize you have to replenish your supply of drinkable blood. As you head out, you have no idea what will await you in Morb City. That one is kind of ignoring what I'm doing. Let's reset. Okay, well, let's choose your own adventure now. I don't think I want to do it like that. Oh, it's giving us more description of Morbius. This AI probably knows more than I do. You have the following attributes. You are strong. You hit like an NFL quarterback, but you can also take a pounding. You are tough as nails. You are smart. I didn't advance the plot though. You went to one of the best schools in the country. You graduated top of your class in college. You have an IQ of 200. You are fast. You can run faster than a cheetah. Okay, we need to readjust this. So AI Dungeon gives us the plot of Morbius. This is the movie that everybody's been talking about. We need to figure out what it's about. Morbius steps out of his apartment, thirsty for blood, looking for someone to drink from. Why did it not give me some more AI? It is a sunny day in Morb City, and the citizens are going about their daily routines. A man and his wife are walking their dog on a leash. That sounds too pleasant. I mean, this is a movie about a vampire. It's probably all dark and edgy and stuff. Maybe. You are flexible. You can bend over and pick up a car. You can also stretch your body to its limits and more. You are aggressive. Also, I realized, did I ever set my name in AI Dungeon here? Does it know that I'm Morbius? You step out of Morbius' apartment and into the night. The moon is high. Okay, well, no, we are Morbius. So I don't think it knows that we are Morbius. I mean, it does know, but it won't know if I do say or do actions. Tonight is a full moon, the best time for feasting. Time to morb, says Morbius, jumping from his apartment window and flying as a bat to the sky. It has no... AI Dungeon doesn't know what Morbius is either. Don't ask me, AI Dungeon. I'm trying to get you to do this. You tell me what Morbius is about. That is... AI Dungeon, what the fuck? Okay, I'll give you more if you have to. You look down from the sky and see something sinister going on. Some sort of crime? Morbius flies lower to get a better look, seeing the red blood stain on the sidewalk and floor. Looks like some crime is about to go down. I must intervene, says Morbius. The sky is dark and cloudy. There are no stars. But first, a snack, Morbius says. Morbius gets down on his hands and knees and licks the blood off the floor. After he's done licking, he flies off and heads towards a crowded bar called Bloody Mary's. Possessive. There's a line of customers waiting to get in. You don't see any vampires in the area. I feel like that kind of forgot about the... maybe it doesn't. I can reel it back towards crime. Does Morbius fight crime or does he do crime? Morbius stomps into the bar, cutting in line like a badass. My Morb senses tell me something fishy is going on here, says Morbius in a deep voice to the woman at the door. She lets him in. Inside the bar, it's extremely crowded. The air is thick with cigarette smoke. People are having a good time. Morbius walks up to the bartender and tries to interrogate him. What's going on here? Who are these humans? What's with the smoke? The bartender's unfazed. He keeps calm and gives a short, creepy answer, which I will now say, as it is time to say what the bartender says. We are all friends here, humans and vampires. The smoke is cigarettes and cigars. I don't know who you're talking to, buddy, because I don't know anyone by the name of He didn't even say I'll bet you do know who is. You're hiding something from me, I know it, says Morbius. The bartender just laughs. What you're sensing is that I don't like your tone. I suggest you tone it down before I have to call the bouncer. Morbius threateningly bares his fangs to show that he is serious. The bartender gets scared and gives him a bottle of whiskey. Just one bottle, you can have one bottle of whiskey and it's on the house, says the bartender. That's not really what we were asking for, but I guess it's something. Morbius drinks the whiskey, unaware of the effect whiskey has on vampires like him. He gets very drunk. The crowd seems to get rowdier and rowdier. People are drunk and disorderly. A fight breaks out of the bar, and the bouncer rushes in to break it up. Morbius gets angry about something or other in his drunken state. He feels himself begin to change. I'm beginning to morb, he bellows as his body changes into that of a large, muscular man with stubble on his face and blood dripping from his fangs. In your new giant form, you easily break up the fight and subdue the last of the disorderly customers. So this is kind of like the establishing... how would you call this? This is just like the beginning part of the movie. It's like showing you, yeah, this character, he's a badass or something. But then, like, the plot comes in. Yeah, sure, let's add the Morb orb to the story. While Morbius is doing this, a devious plot is unfolding. A plot to steal the most powerful item in the Morb world. The Morb orb. It's a golden orb that, when held, allows you to control the daily lives of millions of vampires worldwide. I think Morbius is... Is Morbius supposed to be the only vampire in the canon? I mean, the answer to that question would require there to be a Morbius canon, and I refuse to believe that there is. Morbius wakes up the next day, feeling his daily life being controlled by the orb. He realizes that somebody stole the orb from his apartment. A group of familiar faces appear before him in his mind. Give me more, give me more. Who's these familiar faces? The familiar faces introduce themselves. It's a shame you had to die, old friend, but I suppose that's what happens when you drink from bad eggs. I must search for the orb, says Morbius sadly. It didn't do what I asked it to, but that's funny, so I'm keeping it. It's talking about Morbius's abilities again. If I were Morbius, what would my abilities be? Fortunately, Morbius has a good idea of where the Morb orb was taken to. Morbius kicks in the door. Where is the orb? He bellows, and the echo of his voice booms across the warehouse. The echo feels unnerving. There's only one place in the warehouse where you can put your hands on the orb. A large bookshelf. What the hell does that mean? Morbius puts his hands on the orb, and the orb begins to hum. It's vibrating. The hum is loud and irritating. Alright, I almost have it. I have not been voicing Morbius with the same voice every time, have I? Then the Morb orb does something unexpected. It disappears completely. Gone, says Morbius. He falls to the ground in despair, but you know the orb isn't gone. It's still here. Somewhere. Let's get it to generate what Morbius's arch nemesis is named. You're too late, Morbius, says Morbius's arch nemesis, Lord Black. Lord Black is a vampire that has been around since the dawn of time. The orb is mine now. I have only to wait. Lord Black smiles evilly. Let's see if it remembers what morbing is. Morbius begins to morb. That's not what I was. That's just. Morbius begins to morb, transforming into a swarm of tiny buzzing insects. You need a different approach. You need to use morb to your advantage. Oh, I guess being bees isn't working for Morbius. What will Morbius do? You need to kill Lord Black in some way, somehow. Then you'll never have to put up with his evil, never-ending existence again. You have several options when it comes to killing a vampire. You could put out their fire. You could destroy them with sunlight. You could suffocate them, or you could crush their skull with a large boulder. You decide you're going to go with the boulder. You think up on Lord Black and, with one solid slam, you send the rock crashing into his head. Morbius wins again. Yippee! You crow, and run out of the warehouse back to the city street. You go back to the blood, drinking the blood of humans. You've won the first round. For now. I just realized that he left. It never said that he, took the orb back. He just killed him. Well, he didn't kill him. Lord Black still lives. Things are quiet for a few days in Morb City. Morbius lazily watching TV until he sees a concerning news report. He runs outside to see what's going on, leaving you to... There is no you. I'm Morbius. A mysterious black cloud engulfs New York City, turning the sky dark. The end of the world is nigh, I tell you, the end of the world! It's not very professional for a news reporter, but I'll take it. Morbius knows that only one being could cause something like this. None other than the infamous... the Goddess. The infamous The Goddess. You're in the middle of a battle against the Goddess when you start to feel a change in the air. The smell of sulfur fills your nostrils. I don't know... I'm gonna delete that last part because it shouldn't transition to the middle of a fight. No, it's not the Goddess, it's the infamous The Goddess. That is going to confuse the AI so damn hard. Morbius begins to seek out the infamous The Goddess on her own without the help of your other friends. She has become a bit more vampiric in appearance, but other than that, she's still the same girl. The Goddess? What are you doing with New York City? Morbius yells out to her. You can't seem to find the infamous anywhere. She's gone. She literally just vanished. This is no Who said that? Who says this is no coincidence? You seek her out too. Why? Who says that? Who cares? I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. I'm not telling you. I'm warning you, Morbius. Do not cross me, or you will regret it, says the Goddess. Morbius. So be it, says Morbius. He crosses his arms and looks away from you. No, that's not correct. There is no... The main character is Morbius. There's nobody else here. Okay, that one is kind of like fucking with the rules that I've been trying to set up, but this could be funny. You are the Goddess. You decide to play a game. You and Morbius are going to play a little game. It's called... The Goddess in the Morb City Cemetery. You and the Morbius play a game. The rules are simple. The game begins at midnight in the cemetery outside of Morb City. You and Morbius can play the game whether you are in the cemetery or in a city or in space, etc. The only rule is that you must play at midnight in the place of the cemetery. That sounds pretty contradictory. But I would love to hear AI Dungeon make up rules for a game. The game ends when you hit the dirt, says the Goddess. The game begins at midnight in the cemetery. When the clock hits 0, you must hit the dirt, and fast. Oh, I'm so good at hitting dirt, yells Morbius. I'm going to win this game, and then I'm going to win you? What? The clock strikes midnight, and you both speed off to the cemetery. The Goddess is a good player. I'm apparently a bad speaker. Morbius hits the dirt as fast as morphingly possible. He gets to the cemetery and hits the dirt. He lies there, motionless. The Goddess gets to the cemetery and she too hits the dirt. Then she vanishes. Morbius wins by default, Morbius says. Takes off his sunglasses. His eyes are completely red and bloodshot. They are not black like a normal vampire's eyes. They are bright red. I cannot talk. They are bright red. He takes off his sunglasses. He has no pupils. The Goddess is taking control of your body? He is now one of her obedient slaves. I don't think I want to do that. The Goddess is the only one that understands what that means. It means Morbius has become a mind. Okay, well, it's insisting, I guess. The black cloud over New York City has moved closer to Morbius's house. You can see it from your house. You can hear the explosions. The sun is out of the sky, replaced with a black sky. I'd better get rid of the cloud, Morbius says. He begins to run through the house screaming, I'm going to get rid of the cloud! Then he throws a giant old blanket over the black sky, and the explosions stop. Morbius did it! Morbius cheers. Then he stops and begins to laugh maniacally. What's so funny, Morbius? You ask. Morbius laughs. He laughs for hours. I'm not following what's happening. He laughs until his sides split and his face turns red. When he stops, his face is covered in sweat. He's still got the giant, blanket over his head. Let's just type suddenly and see what suddenly can happen here. Suddenly he starts to speak. What the It needs to stop saying you. I feel like I was gonna say that all the villains are gonna try and fight Morbius now. But like, I feel like these are not the actions of somebody who, like, won. This guy is lost it. I'm not Venom, Morbius says. I can't do it anymore. The next day, Morbius was found dead, lying in his own vomit. Next to him is a half-eaten human arm. The arm was poisonous. The blanket was not a magic spell, it was a poison spell. The goddess had him beat you in the game, but you'll get him next. What? I'm gonna refresh that. The blanket Morbius covered the entire sky with his right next to him. The goddess was victorious. The goddess cackles, taking the Morb orb and putting it into her pocket. She turns to you. Now, Venom, the final battle begins. Why is Venom here? I mean, I know I mentioned him, but... Has you always been Venom? Venom from the hit movie that made people... I don't think I'll finish that sentence, actually. Let's just see what the AI says happens next. Oh, never mind, I guess. Is that where I wanted to end? No. I think that people don't want to see the movie end with Morbius just being dead. Suddenly, the Morb orb reacts to Morbius's body. A small spark of life is still in him. He's not completely dead yet. Let's go, Venom. Now! I have only one chance left. I must. Morb! Morbius yells, putting his all into one final transformation. His last chance to save the world. Morb! He cries, and this time you are certain his yell is loud enough for the entire world to hear. Morb! Morbius towers over the goddess and Venom, his form that of a towering Hulk-sized monster. Hulk isn't that big. I mean, he's big compared to a regular human, but I was picturing, like, at least building-sized. He's covered in a mixture of animal blood and the blood of humans, turning him from a normal, if gigantic human into a monster made of flesh and blood. It's a fucking meat kaiju! Morbius swipes at the goddess with his foot, but she jumps out of the way. She laughs, taking the Morb orb out of her pocket and holding it up. You can never disobey the Morb orb, Morbius! The goddess yells, the orb shining in her hand as it begins to glow. Venom, use your final transformation! Now! You shift into your Venom form. Apparently the story is from the point of view of Venom. Venom lunges at and tries to bite the fleshy Morbius, but Morbius blocks him. Morbius slams Venom to the ground. Venom cries up in pain. Morbius picks Venom up and smashes him to the ground before throwing him across the room. Now it's just final Morbius versus the goddess. Morbius attacks, swinging his fist, making the goddess fall to the ground. She attempts to summon up a dark energy blast, but can't get it going due to the lack of a sun. Didn't she cause the lack of a sun? Hoisted by her own petard, I guess. Morbius charges his energy and unleashes his ultimate attack. The light, or as Morbius called it, the light! He strikes the goddess in the chest with it, and she begins to explode in a burst of light, killing her. Morbius wins again! Yippee! Morbius yells, his voice heard throughout the entire planet. The people of Earth celebrate their new hero, who saved the world from the goddess of darkness. The goddess is gone, the sun is gone, the moon is gone. Now there is only darkness. Well, it sounds like she kind of got what she wanted. I mean, we did kill her with the light. I didn't know she was the goddess of darkness. The Morb Orb is glowing continuously. This is the only thing that lights the darkness. He knows what must be done, even if it takes all the energy Morbius has left. The Morb Orb beginning to glow and glow, flying off into space as it turns into a new sun. A new age begins. A new day. The age of... well, light.
Ah. Welcome! Welcome, new... More bag seed! More bag seed! More bag seed! More bag seed! More bag seed!